There are some strictly scholastic organization. For instance, the school of Epictetus can serve as an example. There are in this school a set of hierarchic relations and a set of different trainings. There are a passing audience where the pupils are received for longer courses. But there are also lessons who are given to passers-by or people who want only to have a short consultation. Certain of the discourses reassembled by Aryan are technical lessons for those future practitioners of cultivation of the self. One finds also, above all in Rome, some private counselors installed in the entourage of some great personage, part of their group or of their clientele. Nothing to do, as you see, with the erotic relation. And the last point. We must not imagine that this culture of the self was only a piece of abstract advice given by a few philosophers and technicians of the soul to a handful of disciples. We must not imagine that this concern with oneself was only a moral attitude. It was a widespread activity with a set of multivarious activities, techniques and devices. Unfortunately, I have no time to spread on this issue. I would like only to underline as an example the importance of writing in the culture of the self. It is often assumed that personal writing is a modern discovery, maybe an innovation of the 16th century or the Reformation. In fact, the relation to oneself through writing has been a very long tradition of the West. And I think that it is possible to observe a shift from the culture of memory, which is still dominant in the Socratic attitude, towards the practice of writing and taking notes in the culture of the Greco-Roman period. The culture of the self in this period. The culture of the self implied the use of personal notebooks, what they called hypomnemata. And in those personal notebooks, you had to note your readings, your conversations, the themes for future meditation. You had also to write your dreams. You had to write your daily schedule. Writing letters was also something important among those practices of the self, because in a letter you have at the same time to entertain a relation to yourself and a relation to somebody else who can be a director or a friend or somebody to whom you give advices which are valuable both for him and for you. At the same time, as these practices spread, it would seem that the experience of oneself was, by virtue of this very fact, intensified and widened. The self becomes a field of observations. The letters of Seneca and Pliny, the correspondence between Marcus Aurelius and Fronto shows this vigilance and the meticulousness with regard to the attention which one should pay to oneself. It often concerns the details of daily life, nuances of health and mood, the small physical malaise that one experiences, the movements of spirits, one's readings, quotation that one remembers, reflections on such and such an event, a certain way of relating to oneself and a whole field of experience are to be seen where in earlier documents they are absent. And from this point of view, the sacred discourses of Elius Aristides constitute a remarkable witness. These texts, written by Elius Aristides, are expressions of gratitude towards Asclepius, the god of health. Elius Aristides, in fact, had been sick during more than 10 years, but what is interesting is that in this text, which is an expression of gratitude to the god who saved Elius Aristides, Elius Aristides gives the transcription of hundreds of dreams that he had during those 10 years. And this text, which in this originally formed had more than 300,000 of lines, this text is a real personal journal of not only the illness of Elius Aristides, but of his everyday and every night life. In the traditional framework of gratitude to the god, Elius Aristides unfolds an account of his illness, malaises, sufferings, diverse feelings, his premonitory dream, and the dreams which offer advices, medicines which had to be tried out, and so on. Are the limits of the hypochondrial symptom reaches in this case? It's certain. But the problem is not to know to what point Elius Aristides was ill. Rather, what is important is to recognize the means which the culture of his time gave him in order to formulate his personal experience of illness and to transmit it to the others.